There are several international and regional frameworks that have established legal standards and laid foundation for addressing violence against women and girls. And we've listed them here: the Maputo Protocol, the Solemn Declaration, the AU Strategy on Gender Equality, 2018 to 2020, as well as CEDAW, which all of us are very familiar with. Research and experience from women and girls, some of which was highlighted by our moderator, highlights that men are overwhelmingly the perpetrators of violence against women and girls. Despite this, also we know that men ought to play critical and crucial role in influencing other men to redirect their tides and shift cultural norms and behaviors. It was this belief that led to the convening of the first AU Men's Conference on Positive Masculinity on ending violence against women. Of course, we had the first one in 2021, led by the President of the Republic, who is now also a champion on positive masculinity. One of the commitments of the Kinshasa Declaration is the adoption is to adopt and implement an African Union Convention on ending violence against women and girls that will serve as a legal framework to end violence against women and girls, of course, which was adopted during the 35th Ordinary Summit of the Heads of State. So you ask me, why is the convention essential? This new convention is meant to fill the gaps in existing frameworks, ensuring that all forms of violence against women and girls are recognized and prevented through coordinated and effective and culturally sensitive approaches. The convention will provide a unified, legally binding framework that emphasizes accountability, protection, and support for all women and girls across the continent. The convention is essential to address emerging dimensions and forms of violence comprehensively. In the next couple of slides that I will show in the next maybe 5 minutes or 6 minutes, I would like to show critical factors that underscore the urgency of adopting this convention. First is the enormity of violence during COVID-19 pandemic. COVID-19 pandemic highlighted and exacerbated the violence that women and girls face in 3 fundamental areas across Africa. We never witnessed this before. First is the increased incidence, the lockdown, and the restriction led to a surge in domestic violence cases, with many women trapped with their abusers. Number 2 is the reduced support services. Of course, pandemic-related disruption reduced access to essential support services such as shelters, hotlines, and legal assistance. Third is that it also came because of significant economic constraint, financial stress, and job losses, further heightening domestic tensions, leading to more violence. The second reason is that of lack of accountability. In addressing violence against women and girls, of course, which create a significant barriers to achieving gender equality. When justice system fail to hold perpetrators accountable, it sends a dangerous message that such acts are acceptable. This lack of enforcement and impunity perpetuates the culture of silence and fear, discouraging survivors from reporting incidents of violence. As a result of this, women and girls continue to suffer in silence, deprived of their fundamental rights to safety, justice, and dignity. This pervasive impunity not only undermines the rule of law, but also erodes public trust in institutions responsible for protecting women and girls. The third reason is non-performance of previous frameworks by member states, and I'm going to demonstrate this very soon. While commitments under previous frameworks are commendable, we notice that many member states fail to adequately prevent and protect women from violence, leading to implementation gaps. This non-performance performance is characterized by some of the following factors. First, for Maputo Protocol in particular, there has some a theme and articles around gender-based violence. There was slow ratification. 45 out of 54 AU member states have ratified the protocol, but only 21 member states have submitted their reports to the Banjul Commission in 21 years. So we are having an average of 21 reports per year. You can dimension that. There is incomplete legislation. Of course, many countries lack specific legislation that comprehensively addresses all forms of violence against women as required by international and regional frameworks such as Maputo Protocol. The gap in legal frameworks undermines effective protection and support for women and girls, leaving them vulnerable without adequate legal recourse. There are also enforcement issues. Even where laws exist, enforcement is often weak and inadequate. The police and judicial system lack the responsiveness and resources needed to effectively handle cases of violence against women and girls. This further exacerbates the challenge faced by survivors in seeking for justice. Now, when you look at the Maputo Protocol, you look at Articles 3, 4, 5, which is a theme on violence against women and girls. When we look at the reports submitted by member states on the implementation based on their recent reports to the Commission, and when we deploy the framework that we had earlier developed with the AU-CEVAWG, Plan International, and Africa Leadership Foundation called Maputo Protocol Scorecard and Index, we noticed the following. 5 countries, Togo, DRC, Malawi, Mauritania, and Rwanda. Now, 3 essentially has to do with some measures being put in place, but where the real core, the core article around gender-based violence is Article 4. And you begin to see the red. The red means nothing has been done. I'm quoting member state report. And so you will see that the intensity of the red increases as we move from each of those articles from 4.1A to 4.2A, B, C, D, E, G. You will see non-performance very obvious. This is what we have done over 21 years. Now, when we actually put the figures of the scorecard for each of the and what member states have been able to achieve, of course, you can see we expected them for that team to achieve 100%, but in the last 21 years, you can see what the result is showing to us. Malawi perhaps has maybe the best result in implementing articles around gender-based violence. And you can see it was going down DRC, Rwanda, Togo, and Mauritania, which gives us 37%. On the average, for 21 years, it is 49%. So I submit to you that one of the major reasons why we need this is because we've seen non-performance on the part of member states, and we need a better framework with necessary support to be able to ensure that there is a reduction in violence against women. Also, there are also other issues. Imagine dimensions of violence that were not captured by the previous legal frameworks that we have. You see cyber violence, you see human trafficking and exploitation, you see intimate partner and domestic violence, you see violence in conflict and post-conflict situations, you see intersectional vulnerabilities, domestic based on race, discrimination based on race, ethnicity, disability, and other factors that experience that compounded violence. There's psychological abuse, including coercive control, gaslighting, emotional manipulation. There are cultural and traditional practices, of course. These ones were captured in some of those instruments, but you see, there are also violence in public and private spaces. There's a need to unpack all of this, which the convention itself is likely also to deal with. The last reason, the last factor, critical factor I want to mention, is a need to properly identify, research, and understand and contextualize various drivers of violence against women, which we are not doing, as a strategy for dealing with its preponderance at all levels. There is a need for deeper integration of drivers of violence against women. For example, His Excellency President Macky Sall, during the second AU Men's Conference on Positive Masculinity on 10th of November 2022 in Dakar, identified negative attitude towards sexual and reproductive health and reproductive rights as a driver. He also identified unpaid care and domestic work as drivers of violence against women. The other drivers that need deeper interrogation include cultural and traditional norms, patriarchic and gender stereotypes, poverty, lack of education, political instability and conflict, weak legal and institutional frameworks, lack of commitment from government and media and technology. The AU Convention on Ending Violence Against Women emerges as a necessary response to all of these factors and shortcomings identified. By addressing these gaps in existing frameworks and promoting accountability and engaging men as allies, we can create a safer and more equitable Africa. It is therefore crucial for all stakeholders, government, civil society, individuals to work collaboratively to ensure the safety and dignity of women and girls through effective contribution to emergence and implementation of the Convention on Ending Violence Against Women and Girls. I thank you.